are happy to welcome NFL Talk with Mike's apparently favorite Vegas square, Mr. Tony Johnson.
Tony freaking Johnson.
That's the big F right there. Tony freaking
There
Johnson right there. Tony, what's going on, brother?
How you doing? It's good to be back on, and I love the intro as always. Yes, very much appreciated. Still thought it'd be you, Aaron. Really thought you'd be the favorite, but you know what? I'll take it. I'll take anything I can get from Mike.
Mike's tired of me. Mike's tired of me, so
fair enough.
So, Mike, we've got the preseason winding down here, and we've got carte blanche with one of the most insightful NFL guys I know. So, Mike, why don't you go ahead and lob the first softball here at Mr. Tony Johnson?
Yeah, I'm going to do a little wind up like a softball player.
There you go, buddy.
Tony, you believe that a certain player's injury, I mean, I've been watching Hard Knocks, so I'm going to give it away, is very real and affects the playoff landscape. Tony, who is that and what are you talking about?
Yes, I mean, it's not going to be totally out of the blue to assume a quarterback can affect the playoff landscape, because certainly it is the most important position probably in professional sports. But yeah, I think the Dak and Prescott injury is a big deal. And I'm really more referring to the big ankle injury from last year, which I don't feel like it seems like he's fully recovered from. Now, this muscle strain that's added on, which, hopefully he's back from. Again, I don't know if that's necessarily a long-term thing, although I know we've had some baseball examples of guys that have never really recovered at least fully, in the short term, months at a time. I know guys have lost some at least arm strength from the outfielders all the way down to pitchers. When they have strains like this, they tend to lose some velocity, whether that's the ball coming in again from the outfield or from the pitching rubber itself. But that's not really my main concern. My main concern is the fact that it doesn't look like he's planting all that well, from his leg there. We've seen a bit of a more of a windup actually from Dak. It's a different mechanism, the way the ball is coming out. I've seen some video from both, times when he's throwing from 2-3 years ago until now, and again, it looks different. Now, can this change? Can he get better? Can he get back to where he was? Yeah, I mean, maybe, but if he doesn't, again, I think this team suffers offensively, and if this team suffers offensively, then that's really where the problems start to lie, because it is an offensive team at this point, and to me, it's the best team, at least talent-wise, in the NFC East. And so, again, if you don't have a healthy Dak, or if he doesn't believe in being fully healthy again, I think it opens up the door, for a couple other teams, not only in that division, but, possibly in the wild card race. And just to me, he doesn't look the same. Doesn't look like the same player. So again, we'll see. We'll see after the strain and he comes back. We'll see if there's a difference. But to me, I don't believe in it. And if I was a big fantasy player, he'd be a guy I would avoid in my draft circles.
Wow.
Yeah, I was just about to actually say that with regards to the fantasy aspect. I know a lot of people are high on Dak based on what he did in the limited time last year, but not only in the fantasy world, but we talk how bad the NFC East is, but someone's got to win it. And without Dak missing, potentially the year or potentially significant time, you talk about opening the door for multiple teams, not only in the NFC East. I just don't know who it is. We look at the NFC East, and Philadelphia, they're kicking the tires around on maybe trying to compete, trying to rebuild. And you look at Washington, obviously the defending champs in the NFC East. I know that for whatever that's worth. But nobody's talking about the Giants right now. Everybody's talking about Washington and Dallas.
I mean, I would agree. I think the Giants certainly have a chance. Those are one of the two teams. I'm not sure Philly is ready to go right now. I actually don't like a lot what we see from Philly, but I'm with you. Aaron. I think the Giants certainly have a decent chance. The defense got better. There's no question about that. They were atrocious at times, especially in coverage early on in the season last year. I don't think we're going to see that. That will not be the case this season. That'll be a much improved defense. And again, how healthy can Saquon Barkley be on the other side of the ball? Can he be that elite runner that we saw, as a rookie? I think it's certainly possible. What will the impact of Kenny Golladay be? Again, I don't know. It's still a pretty weak offensive line, so a little bit patchwork, I think, in a few spots, especially the guard positions there. So, we'll see. And does Daniel Jones make the final step forward that, where everyone is, I think, sort of hoping that he makes? He seems to be a relatively likable guy. But, again, can he make that step forward? We haven't really seen enough. We've seen games and bits and pieces where he's played really at an elite level, but it's just a game here and there. And, that's not going to get it done, of course, in the NFL. So, we'll see. But I'm with you, Aaron. I think it's Washington or the Giants that have the best chance if we don't see the full on Dak that we're used to seeing, in the pre-injury days. So yeah, I mean, I guess I would give the slight nod to Washington. Again, I just do like that defense so much. I think Fitzpatrick just brings another world there, assuming he gets the starting job. I know it's been kind of weird.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it?
It is. I think we're all a little bit surprised that it's not kind of he's been given the reins and, to bring not to say it's a quarterback controversy, sort of there, but I don't know. Again, I'm not to Taylor Heineke is, I don't think the answer, for this team. So Heineke, I'm not sure how it's pronounced.
Like Heineken.
Heineke. Okay, Heineke. So
Heineke, he's still the backup. Let's go.
Yeah. and he should be, relegated to that. I don't really understand what this does to try to create some
the
sort of
2 games last
here.
year. Give him some clout at that
Balled
point.
out against the Buccaneers. That's what happened.
And in an L, Mike. In an L. Speaking of quarterbacks from New York, you mentioned Danny Dimes. One that has left New York and is released from the shackles of Adam Gase is Sam Darnold. He, to me, is the biggest question mark this year. We saw in USC that he has the flashes to be a great caliber quarterback here in the NFL, but he also played for the Jets, and whoever you want to place blame on, that's fine. He's in Carolina now. Teddy Bridgewater's gone. The reins are his. Matt Rule is Mike's messiah at this point, it seems, in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
But fantasy-wise and outlook-wise and gambling-wise, he's still my biggest question mark this year.
I would agree. I think there's a lot of people that are very quiet in that sense because we really have no idea, and I'm one of those as well. I didn't see Sam Darnold is one of the guys that I didn't watch a ton as well in college. I tend to watch a lot of either the smaller conferences or everybody out east. I miss sometimes, unfortunately, like some of the major media. Some of the Pac-12 type of stuff. So I didn't get to see a ton. And then obviously with what we've seen with the Jets, it was a complete train wreck. Again, probably not all of his fault, but we certainly have to put some of the blame on him. There were times where he had ample opportunity in the pocket and, just missed through balls or, took off too early. And he's just, the happy feet syndrome that we see sometimes with quarterbacks is never something ideal. And it usually, we don't see that progression, as quickly unless somebody comes in and at least is able to stand there and able to read and get the ball out quickly, like, we may touch on with some of these other upcoming rookie quarterbacks. But yeah, I don't know what to say, Aaron. I wish I had more with Sam Darnold. It's a wait and see approach for me with Carolina. Obviously, I think this goes without saying, a healthy Christian McCaffrey. And I think a team that we saw, night and day improvements last year, both sides of the ball. Even when McCaffrey wasn't healthy, we saw that team hang in there in that conference. They hung in there against New Orleans a couple of weeks, almost pulled out one of those games, tied it in the fourth quarter, without McCaffrey there at the helm and Mike Davis just banging around and, getting extra yards. It's just a fun team to watch. Matt Rule, I remember him at Temple winning a bunch of games with a lot of really bad players. And yeah, it really was impressive. So he seems like a guy that's ready to rise, and I've always liked him. So yeah, did a great job at Baylor, and then now here we are testing him in the NFL. One of the few guys going from the college ranks to the NFL who I really think can do it. And down in Jacksonville, I think that's sort of the antithesis of that. I think he has almost no chance long term. But Matt Rule, he's got his head on his shoulders, right? So I'll give him a shot with Carolina for sure.
So with Aaron, can I talk about the Broncos real quick?
Yeah, I was actually gonna kind of go there. It seems like we're kind of connecting the dots. We went Sam Darnold to Carolina, former quarterback in Carolina, moving over to
Chemistry.
Denver. So
We're in a
please,
science lab right now.
please, please take it away. I do want to get back to Urban Meyer, but please take it away with
Of
Denver.
course, yeah. Well, Teddy Bridgewater has locked up the Broncos starting quarterback job, and Drew Lock has no key. It's insane. But Tony, can Denver contend with not only the Chiefs but even the Chargers? I'm not even going to mention the fourth team in that division, but can they even compete for the second, much more the first spot in that division? Tell me how the Broncos are looking now with Teddy and a healthy Von Miller.
I think absolutely they can, Mike. In fact, it's the team that I'd be picking, in an odd sense to win the division. No doubt about it. Again, do the cards have to probably fall correctly? I would say so. We haven't seen Bradley Chubb and Von Miller on the field at the same time all that often the last few years, but when they are, it's a deadly combination. We thought they were going to be weak at corner, and then all of a sudden, I think they get a great draft with Patrick Surtain. And then getting Kyle Fuller in free agency with the Bears just basically cut and let go, reuniting with Vic Fangio. I mean, I've watched Kyle Fuller a lot throughout his career, and even in college. I mean, he is a great corner. There is no question about it. He's a no holds barred, corner who will deny you the ball, and just a guy that you want, especially in this day and age in the NFL when the receivers are so talented and so good in the open field. I mean, again, Denver makes a lot of sense. This could be, and I've said this before, and we may even touched on it before, this could be the number one defense in the NFL if they stay healthy.
Yes.
And so if you have the number one defense in the NFL, how much does your offense have to do? Well, we've seen it throughout historically, not all that much. An injury here and there, a rough patch here and there from Kansas City. And I think Denver's got a certain chance. This is a very
Teddy's not
schedule.
bad.
He's not bad. He's the guy I wanted. So it was the first future bet that I made. I know we'll get to that later on. He's the guy I wanted to start. I get it. If it was Drew Lock, I'd have been sort of okay with it. But Teddy's the guy you want here. He's not going to make the mistakes. Yeah, is he going to go out and win you a game and throw the ball around the yard? No, he's not. We saw that with Carolina. It was boring and whatever. But Teddy knows how to play. I like it. I like the decision, and I think it's a smart decision. Fangio, it looks like he's making steps here in his head coaching journey. I know it's a late journey for him, but it's still a journey. And what a decision! What a decision to go with here. I think he knows it's a win now mentality. This is not a build up Detroit situation here. This is a win now mentality. The receiving core on Denver, nuts. I mean, we might start making comparisons to Pittsburgh by the end of the year. I mean, this group of guys is crazy. I mean, can we see Williams take over for Melvin Gordon maybe as well?
I hope so.
By the middle of the season, I think so too. This is a real thing. The word on Jerry Jeudy, throughout camp has been phenomenal. I know he dropped 8 passes in his first 3 or 4 weeks last year, but if the drops stop, if Cortland Sutton's healthy. Mike Munchak, I know, has done wonders with offensive lines throughout his tenure in the NFL, and getting to work with a young group here. Hopefully, they can improve from last year. It's just a team, everything going in the right direction. So, how can you not like them?
And a team like that needs the chips to fall where they may, and you never know. Kansas City had proved time and time again last year that they are human. So we'll have to see with that one. The AFC West, that's a good one. Odds bet to win that division. Denver. You might take a shot at it.
Aaron, can I give you my bookie read, and then we'll keep on going with Tony?
I guess.
I mean, it's almost like 10-4 so why not? Just remember, folks, mybookie.ag is the place that Tony will probably make his bets. I don't know if that's true or not. Use promo code 12 Sports. That's 12OZ Sports, all caps. No spaces. You know the rules. Up to $1,000, not 100, $1,000 first deposit bonus. No one does it like 12 Sports, my bookie, and the AM Drive. You're welcome. Go ahead, Aaron.
You good? You get that out of your system?
I'm ready to make some money.
All right. I want to kind of circle back to the Urban Meyer situation. I I saw in the NFL on CBS. By the way, my boy Pete Prisco, he is maybe the scummiest human being I've ever met in my life. And I will tell him that to his bald face. Uh, they're already kind of chanting for Urban Meyer to resign. Little nuggets of information that the players don't like his coaching methods. I'm sorry here, but you guys were 1-15 last year. Maybe you should shut your mouth and open your ears. Your thoughts on Urban Meyer? I'm not saying he's going to be successful, but and I'm not even rooting for him. But shut your mouth for a second. You were 1-15 last year.
Yeah, to not give him a chance, Aaron, I agree with you there. I don't think that's the right move, but that also plays into the fact that I think this is going to be a disaster. Is if you already have players sort of against what's going on, and there's a lot of talk around the league, in management circles and things like that. Urban trying to again create a quarterback controversy, for that short amount of time, which again made no sense. Obviously, I know we all kind of have a liking for Gardner Minshew. He's a tough guy not to like. He's a fun dude. I know he talked about not being able to go number 2, for 2 or 3 weeks in his quarterback battle himself. It was just a great quote machine, Gardner Minshew is. But hopefully he ends up here in Las Vegas at some point. I think that'll be a lot of fun. He'll get along great here. But yeah, I mean, it's just everything you gotten to know and think about Urban Meyer, the transition to the NFL. It feels like a Steve Spurrier, kind of thing here. It just. He's such a ingrained college coach, and a lot of the small things and the stuff that you can do and get away with in college, it just doesn't work here in the NFL. So I'm not surprised to hear this from the players, management circles, things like that. But the fact that it's coming out this early, Aaron, that is the shocking thing to me. I'm surprised that, again, a team that went 1-15, you'd think there'd be some hope, there'd be some positivity, like, oh, we got a new guy, new face, like let's get behind it, let's at least give him a chance. But they may not be giving him a chance here. I can't understand it either. Again, I'm not an Urban Meyer guy. I'm never going to be an Urban Meyer guy. I really don't like this guy. You're Pete Prisco, hatred. It's really up there with Urban Meyer for me. So, fun to see a failure there. Although I love the owner, Shad Khan so much. So it's kind of sad. But he hasn't run this team all that well throughout the majority of his tenure. There's no question about that. So, and this is just another decision that I think is going to be a failure, not only short term this year, but long term I think will be as well.
Do you think he lost respect when he signed Tim Tebow?
Yes, I do. I don't know what that whole experiment was. I don't really quite understand that. Again, I don't claim to know football and the positions and how it works as well as the elite guys or the guys that really, really know the game. But everyone I've heard and a few people I've talked to have said you cannot learn a tight end position. You cannot learn a position like this in a very short period of time. And so why even go down this route, for a guy in his late 20s, just makes absolutely no sense. And that's a sideshow. It's ridiculous. Maybe it was just a quick jersey sell and, promotional scheme, maybe, but that's not Shad Khan's style usually. So, I wouldn't think that was sort of the move. But I don't know what to tell you, Aaron. I'm also, this is going to be controversial. Maybe I am definitely not a Tim Tebow fan in all senses of being, but taking that away from him, it's not fair to the guy to try to expect him to play at a high level at a position that no one's going to be able to do this. You can't just, do that on a dime. So I don't know who the decision maker was in this sense or what the case is, but to blame Urban Meyer maybe all, solely for it may not also be fair either. It's the organization decision. It didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if Shad Khan wanted to sell tickets and jerseys, he'd have brought Tim Tebow in a while ago. You're right. I mean, look, I've said this before. I say it again. I despise Tim Tebow, the Florida Gator, but Tim Tebow, the human, he didn't deserve the flack he got, and he handled it with class. So I can see now why you're Mike's favorite Vegas square. But I want to talk about this last thing here because it also pertains to Jacksonville. Before we get into your win total bets, look, he froze right on the fist pump. Speaking of Jacksonville and among others, we've got a lot of rookie quarterbacks coming in, creating controversies, creating battles in their teams. Trey Lance, Mac Jones, Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence. We know has already won his, but you're willing to die on a hill here. Tony, you're willing to die on a hill here. What hill is that?
I am. It's my biggest proclamation that I can remember for a while. I do believe, at least of our generation, I'm going to kind of group us all sort of together here, that this will be the best quarterback class of the generation that we see, maybe of many, many, many years. All of
Completely
these
agree.
guys. Yeah, I'm floored. Especially, I can say four of the 5 first rounders. And I'm going to start with the guy that I'm unsure about, and it's not negative. It's an unsure is Zach Wilson. Now I've watched
Same.
again a Pacific-ish guy, at least a Western guy. He's one of the teams that I did watch quite a bit of. I actually watched a lot of Zach when he was a freshman, too, a couple years ago. So that's good. But I don't know. It's a wait and see approach. Again, I like the guy. I've heard him, talk before, especially about the position and growing and becoming better. And everything that he says makes a lot of sense. And he's good and he seems smart, and that's great. I just don't know what it's going to be. How athletic really is he? I think we understand quite the athleticism of Trey Lance. We'll get to that maybe in a second. But Trevor Lawrence is an underrated athlete. We've seen him now run around a little bit, probably way too much in the preseason.
white.
But we know he can get it done with his legs too, and that just adds another level of what Trevor can do, I think, on the field. Justin Fields also, we saw that certainly in the playoffs last year, in college playoffs. But Zach Wilson is interesting, and it's just not a great spot either. How can you really thrive with the Jets? We've seen some of these players like Sam Darnold, whatever, and struggle so mightily throughout their careers, and many other guys too. It's just such an organization in disarray. But if there's a guy that can do it, maybe it's Zach. I know he's looked good in the team so far. So we'll see. Again, I like what I've seen so far. I like the stuff that we're hearing from the team about him, his work ethic. So that's great. But these other 4 guys, again, I know we don't have a ton of time. Trey Lance, to me is a transcendent quarterback. I loved the talent and the ability in college. He wasn't playing against anybody, so I was trying to hold off. But now seeing him, he makes 5 of 14 look like an MVP style performance. Whenever he gets out of the pocket and there's a chance to go, there's 10 to 15 yards. He's one of those guys that can get it done with his legs. He's playing on another speed. He reminds me of Pat Mahomes in regards, it's just another speed. Watching Michael Vick in Atlanta, it was another speed. There are guys that are playing the game on a different level, and this is that guy. So again, what is the work ethic going to be? Is he bright enough to be able to lead a team and understand and read a defense? We really don't know. There's so much unknown about him, but everything is there. And watching him play just in these preseason games, his poise, his calmness in the pocket. He only leaves when he really has to. I love it. He just stands there. It's a beautiful thing to watch. And then again, all these other guys, for a lot of good reasons, I think can be great ball players. Mac Jones, again, doesn't really have the skills of any of these other 4 guys. He doesn't seem to do anything well, but all of the intangibles and everything is there. He's yelling at receivers in practice to get into position. He's acting like the number 1 and the main guy right now. The ball comes out quickly. It's on a dime. It's accurate. The guy can play. I am impressed. This is the thing I'm most impressed with, because I didn't understand it. I mean, he was a quarterback on one of the best teams we've seen in a long time in college. I didn't see where the transition would be. He's got arm strength is weak, but man, that ball's on point all the time. I mean, how quickly will he supplant Cam? Well, Cam better play really, really, really well the first 3 or 4 weeks, because even if he doesn't play at an elite level, it'll be Mac's team pretty quick here.
In 45 seconds, can you give me your win total bets?
Win total bets quickly. I got 3 I love. Denver over 8. They're up to 8.5, almost 9 now. I think my bookie just clocked in at 9. Everyone likes Bridgewater. They like Bridgewater starting with this team. Jacksonville under 6.5. We talked about that. Miami under 9. This might be my favorite one out of all. I think Miami is a trash heap this year. That's the team that finishes last in that division. Maybe last by a couple of games. Hate Miami this year. Couple of note. Dallas under 9, thinking about it, unsure. Obviously, we talked the Prescott situation. New England over 9, haven't pulled that trigger yet. I want Mac Jones full on. If we can get Mac Jones full on, we'll take New England over 9.
Wow.
There it is. There it is, guys. Get your bets in. The season's about to start very soon. A lot of informational talk. I tell you what, you're never going to get a short answer out of Tony Johnson.
I love it.
I love it too. I loved it when on Vegas Squares we had unlimited time, but unfortunately we ran out of it this time. We're going to have Tony Johnson on very frequently throughout the NFL season. Again, thank you, Tony, for your time. Catch you another time.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.